Welcome to the news on Zodiak with me, Sibongile. The headlines. The Office of the Vice President finalizes first quarterly progress reviews on reforms contract implementation. CHR expresses concern over mass gatherings during political rallies in areas expected to hold by-elections. Concerned Neno residents petition government through Parliament on commencement of Neno Road construction. And in sports, inquest results into boxer Simeon Cheta's match-fixing allegations to be out before end of this week. Those are the headlines, now the news in detail. The Office of the Vice President, Dr. Saulos Chilima, says it has completed the first quarter progress reviews on the reforms contract implementation process, which started early this month. Among others, the reviews are focusing on ensuring that government agencies move from process-based to result-based reforms in carrying out operations. Government agencies signed the reforms contract implementation agreements with President Lazarus Chakwera in November last year, which are meant to ensure accountability and responsiveness in public service delivery. Fanani Urenda reports.
According to Vice President Saulos Chilima, his office has completed first quarterly progress reviews on the reforms contract implementation with government agencies in the country. Writing on his Facebook page, the Vice President says what remains now is for the government agencies that include ministries and parastatals to assess their performances before instituting a joint result assessment on the progress they have made. The first reviews mainly focused on progress in the processes government agencies have undertaken to achieve the reforms they had set for themselves. The final results will be presented to the country's president, Lazarus Chakwera, before they are made public. The reviews follows the reforms contract implementation agreements which government agencies, including ministries, signed with President Lazarus Chakwera in November last year. Meanwhile, the quarterly progress reviews on contract implementation will now move to the local councils, constitutional bodies, the judiciary, and the legislature. The reforms are meant to promote government accountability and responsiveness in operations by moving away from process-based to result-based reforms. For Zodiak, I am Fanani Urenda.
The Parliamentary Accounts Committee PAC says it is expecting to receive an audit report on the 6.2 billion kwacha COVID-19 funds this Friday after the expiry of the 21-day ultimatum. PAC Chairperson Shadrack Namalomba told Zodiak that once the report is in, they will start summoning before the committee public officers implicated in the report. Christopher Sunday reports.
Chairperson for Parliamentary Accounts Committee Shadrack Namalomba says they assigned the Office of the Auditor General to carry out an audit on how 6.2 billion kwacha COVID-19 funds was used. Initiation of the 21-day audit follows reports of gross mismanagement of the taxpayers' money. Namalomba says they expect to get the audit report this Friday, the day the audit was scheduled to last.
We assigned the Office of the Auditor General to do an investigative audit on the alleged missing or misuse of the 6.2 billion COVID money. For our expectation and by our agreement with them, we expect them to submit the report tomorrow. I'll be following up tomorrow. I know that they have started the audit or they started the audit, but we expect them to report to us by tomorrow. They are coming from the National Audit Office. We did not engage private auditors. They are our own National Audit Office. By the way, I think we needed to trust them. I don't think that they are professional. They are professional, I know them, and they are going to do a good job.
There was no immediate comment from the Office of the Auditor General. Government interdicted some public officers, including district commissioners, to pave way for the audit. Reporting for Zodiac from Blantyre, this is Christopher Sunday.
And staying on Parliament, the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee on Constituency Development Fund (CDF) probe has uncovered gross abuse of the funds in the 2019-2020 fiscal budget. Chairperson of the committee, Raf Joma, says in most councils, the funds were not used for intended purpose, which is development projects. He cited, for instance, Chikwawa District Council, where funds amounting to 30 million kwacha were spent on medical expenses for a few individuals instead of implementation of development activities in 2020. Andrew Viano was at Parliament and sent us this report.
Public funds are under threat in some councils as huge sums of money meant for development are diverted to other matters. This is contained in a report that was presented and debated in Parliament on Thursday by an ad hoc committee on Constituency Development Fund (CDF). Chairperson of the committee, Raf Juma, cited Jukwawa, Nkata Bay, Chitipa and Salima district councils as some of the councils where funds that were meant for development were diverted. Juma said, for instance, in Nkata Bay, CDF amounting to 33 million kwacha were mismanaged. As a corrective measure, Juma said there is need to recruit CDF desk officers who handle CDF funds in local councils, among other key recommendations.
A member of parliament has to know who is being paid, for what, and what amount. CDF today in the councils is a fund that is pulled together with all other resources. We don't want that because it has been abused. These officers have actually borrowed these funds and used it for other ORT expenses. We want a special account to be opened for CDF, and no payment should be made from this account that is not related to CDF expenditure. Many times, it is actually the culprits who are accusing the innocent. A member of parliament doesn't touch this money, not in any way. A member of parliament doesn't buy materials. A member of parliament doesn't collect the materials from the shops. He doesn't deliver them to the site. At what point would a member of parliament be found to be misappropriating funds for CDF?
Government increased the Constituency Development Fund from 30 million kwacha to 40 million kwacha in the current national budget.
The Center for Human Rights and Rehabilitation has expressed concern over mass gatherings during political rallies in areas where the March 30 by-elections are expected to be held. Executive Director for CHRR, Michael Kayatsa, says this has the potential to trigger a third wave of the pandemic and has since accused the police of relaxing in their mandate to enforce containment rules. But National Police spokesperson James Karazera has quashed CHRR's claim, saying police officers are on the ground, including in the mentioned constituencies. This report for Western Guta.
The Center for Human Rights and Rehabilitation, CHRR Executive Director Michael Kayatsa says he is concerned with continued non-compliance of COVID-19 preventive regulations that can cause further spread and fears the third wave of the pandemic if nothing is done. He has also accused the police of sleeping on the job now as they have lessened enforcement of the COVID-19 regulations.
Police would intervene to ensure that the political parties are also adhering to COVID-19 measures, because political parties are also supposed to follow measures that government has put in place, and police have to enforce these measures. Health
expert Jane Mibawa has said despite that the rallies are held in open spaces, there is still a threat in mass gatherings which should be controlled through enforcement.
Probably what needs to be sent out there is to make sure that all people that congregate, they must wear masks and also observe social distancing.
However, reacting to the news, National Police spokesperson James Karazera has refuted the CHRR's claim, saying police officers are on the ground, including in the mentioned constituencies.
There are a lot of roadblocks that we are conducting. We are very visible. We are out there conducting patrols, reminding Malawians that COVID-19 still exists, and there are these restrictions that have to be followed.
Campaign rallies are being conducted in different constituencies and wards in readiness for parliamentary and local government elections on 30th March. Reporting for Zodiak, I am Western Guta.
Meanwhile, Malawi Electoral Commission has changed the arrival date for ballot papers for the by-elections. The new date is Sunday, 21st March 2021, and not 26 March as earlier planned. Director of Media and Public Relations for MEC, Mr. Sangwani Maflirwa, told us the change has been necessitated by an availability of flights on the initial date. The ballot papers are being printed in Dubai. More in this report with Adams Undaninge.
Ballot papers for the March 30 by-elections, which were due to arrive in the country on 26 March, will arrive on Sunday, 23 March, through Kamuzu International Airport in Lilongwe. MEC Director of Media and Public Relations, Sangwani Maflirwa, told us today, Thursday, that the change of dates has been necessitated due to unavailability of a flight on the initial date. Maflirwa assured all electoral stakeholders that the ballot papers will be kept securely before being dispatched to councils on the 26th of this month.
We asked the printer to find some flight coming to Malawi that can bring the ballot papers on the 26th as we had initially planned. When they contacted the airlines that come into Malawi, the only flight that has got space to carry the ballot papers is the one that is coming on the 21st of March. Now, this is what has necessitated the change in the plan.
On his part, University of Livingstone-based political analyst George Perry has asked the electoral body to consider addressing the nation on the changes to avoid people creating unfounded accusations. Reporting for ZBS News, this is Adams Clement Undaning.
Over 500 households whose houses were destroyed by floods in Karonga, Nchewa and Machinga early this year have received a financial boost from the Malawi Red Cross Society for Reconstruction. Project coordinator for the humanitarian organization, Mr. Chilima, told us on Wednesday that the distribution of cash to the flood victims is to ensure that affected families continue living their normal life. Chilima speaks with Adams Undaningi.
As Malawi Red Cross are mandated to work in partnership complementary to the government. Today we are responding to flooding that has happened in 3 districts, Karonga, Machinga and Nchewa, targeting 586 households. We are distributing cash to these households ranging from 13,000 to 65,000 per household, depending on the severity of the damage of their houses. We are also distributing wash NFIs, which have been supported by UNICEF, to ensure that people in crisis live a life of dignity and that they have access to hygiene and good health.
What sort of advice do you have to the recipients in this case?
I would like to encourage all the beneficiaries to use the cash that they have received today for the intended purpose to build back better so that their houses are resilient to seasonal floods.
You're watching News on Zodiac. We'll be right back shortly. Stand by.
To achieve great things in life, you must do little things every day, like the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate. 1, wake up, wake up. 2, brush up, brush up. 3, smile through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Smile through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate and give yourself a future to smile about.
Kodi mukudziwa kuti ife alilongo water board tili ndi call center yomwe inakhazikitsidwa kuti itumikire inu makastomala athu. Ngati mwapezana ndi vuto lililonse lokhuzana ndi madzi, musachedwe, tiyimbireni pa 253 mwaulere. Kusiya kwa madzi, madandaulo okhudzana ndi mabilu, kulipira mabilu, kuphulika kwa mapayipi, kulumikiza madzi mwachinyengo, kaya kutsina khutu, musachedwe, tiyimbireni pa 253 mwaulere ndipo tidzakuthandizani mwachangu ndi mwansangala.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Welcome back. I am Sibongile Ziambo. Let's take a look at the headlines as we continue the news. The Office of the Vice President finalizes first quarterly progress reviews on reforms contract implementation. CHRR expresses concern over mass gatherings during political rallies in areas expected to hold by-elections. Concerned Neno residents petition government through Parliament on commencement of Neno Road construction. And in sports, inquest results into boxer Simeon Chetter's match-fixing allegations to be out before the end of this week. Those are the headlines. Moving on with the news, back to Parliament, some concerned citizens from Neno District have petitioned the Tonse-led administration asking it to make a commitment to commence construction of the 136-kilometer Mwanza-Neno-Tsangano road in 21 days. They are under a grouping called Mwanza-Neno Advocacy Group. The grouping, led by their chairperson, Robert Ngayaye, has presented a 5-point petition to Parliament saying they feel neglected that 57 years of independent Neno district has never had a tarmac road. Andrew Viano was at Parliament and filed this report.
Speaking after presenting the petition, chairperson of the grouping, Robert Ngayaye, said the area has been deprived of various developmental projects due to mobility challenges in the district. He added that almost all governments before have laid foundation stones, but works on the road project has failed to commence.
We have been the only district for 57 years that has no tarmac road. And you can imagine that once the tarmac road is built, then most of the development will come, because it's difficult to reach Neno now these days, especially now when it is raining. Nobody can really go there.
In his remarks, Neno North legislator Toko Tembo said he would present the petition in Parliament next week. Tembo said it is worrying that of all districts in the country, only Neno has no tarmac road.
They've come to the right place. Parliament is the place where people's grievances are heard. I will present the petition to the right people so that it is presented in Parliament, and hopefully with that action we should be able to see something happening on the ground and their demands being met.
It is estimated that 136-kilometer road would cost between 3 to 6 billion Malawi kwacha.
President of Association of Malawian Midwives, Keith Lipato, has pleaded with midwives and health workers to coordinate efforts in demystifying myths surrounding COVID-19 vaccine. Lipato said this Thursday after taking his jab during the launch of COVID-19 vaccination campaign in Mulanje, where the district commissioner led council officials and health workers in getting their first jab. Essence Jumani reports from there.
In an interview with Zodiak after receiving his first jab, President of Association of Malawian Midwives, Keith Lipato, pleaded with health workers to challenge myths surrounding the COVID-19 vaccine and get vaccinated, arguing they are among risky populations.
Let us be the very first people to get vaccinated. Once we do that, the people that we take care of, the people from the villages, from the markets, they'll be able to have trust in this vaccine, and they're going to come in their large numbers.
The acting district commissioner for Mulanje, Mr. Enoch Chumacha, who also received his first jab, said by getting vaccinated on the very first day of the exercise, he wants to send a positive message to people in the district about the vaccine.
We are appealing to all people that they should take this particular vaccine seriously. I have taken the jab, and I hope others will take it too when their turn comes.
According to Director of Health and Social Services at Mulanje District Council, Dr. Alinath Kalanga, the district has so far registered 597 positive cases and 27 deaths. For Zodiac in Mulanje, this is Hastings Jimani reporting.
Education officials in Chisa have admitted that unavailability of changing rooms for girls during menstruation in most primary schools in some areas is affecting attendance rate of girls, thereby raising fears of high numbers of school dropouts. For example, in Chisi, Zodiac has established that at Malambo Zone, where enrollment of girls is 3,368, all the 11 primary schools have no changing rooms for girls, resulting into most girls skipping classes for more than a week. Details with Gift Dupimba.
Over 1,000 girls have no access to changing rooms during menstruation period in their schools in Malambo Zone in Chisi North, where 3,368 girls are enrolled. According to education officials there, the attendance rate of girls in all the 11 schools in the zone is not impressive, as the problem is resulting in girls skipping classes for a period of more than a week. Chris Ngombe is a chairperson for a mother group in one of the schools there, and she says as a result, girls have no choice but to stay at home during menstruation period because the schools have no changing rooms. When asked to comment on the issue, Primary Education Advisor for Malambo Zone, Thomas Chimbalo, told us that the stakeholders are already planning to start construction works of the changing rooms in all the 11 schools.
Yeah, that's true. In my zone, this problem is just very big. And as I'm talking now, almost each and every school has no enough change rooms. The result, after I found this problem, I called the stakeholders in the zone. We came together where we discussed on how we can go about with this issue. We agreed that by the end of this school session, each and every school will have at least 2 or 3 change rooms.
Construction of such structures are supposed to be done by school committees and community members. Gift to Pimba, ZBS, GC.
Now we go to sports news. The Malawi Professional Boxing Control Board says the outcome of an investigation into boxer Simeon Cheta's match-fixing allegations will be released before the end of this week. Cheta, 24, is being accused of fixing a title bout against Namibian Lucas Ndafoloma in Windhoek in February and faces up to a 2-year ban if found in the wrong for breaching boxing rules. The board's president, Lozo Zimba, has told us the investigations have been aided by information from their Namibian counterparts who launched the match-fixing claim. Sambanda reports.
Simeon Cheta, a Malawi Defense Force soldier, could be banned up to 2 years if found guilty of flouting boxing rules after he surrendered within a few seconds of his 12-round title bout against Namibian Lucas Ndafoloma in Windhoek on 27th February, prompting the Namibian boxing authorities to lodge a complaint with their Malawian counterparts accusing the local pugilist of fixing the match. The Malawi Professional Boxing Control Board has been investigating the matter, and according to the board's president, Defector Lozo Zimba, the outcome could be issued before the end of this week. Meanwhile, the board has cleared 4 more boxers to fight in Namibia and Tanzania respectively this month end as well as early April.
Every boxer has got his own record. With what happened with our boxer Simeon Cheta cannot affect any boxer. And at the same time, every boxer has got his own category. We have discussed a lot with our Namibia counterparts. What happened with our boxer Cheta, I don't think can affect anything, but I have that 100% hope that our boxers will perform.
Malawi Defense Force spokesperson Major Calvin Mlelemba says the army will act on Cheta's issue once it receives official communication from boxing authorities.
We'll wait for the Malawi Professional Boxing Association to give us a report on how our boxer traveled to Namibia, what happened in Namibia, and then, based on the report, decisions are going to be made. It is going to tell us whether indeed our boxer was involved in that or not, and then a decision is going to be made.
Chikondi Makawa has been cleared to fight Charles Shinima. Hanok Piri dates Tanzania's Cosmas Cheka, and Israel Kamwamba is also expected to fight in Namibia next month.
That's it for now. Let's take a look at the headlines before we leave you. The Office of the Vice President finalizes first quarterly progress reviews on reforms contract implementation. CHR expresses concern over mass gatherings during political rallies in areas expected to hold by-elections. Concerned Neno residents petition government through Parliament on commencement of Neno Road construction. And in sports, inquest results into boxer Simeon Cheta's match-fixing allegations to be out before the end of this week. Visit our website, zodiacmalai.com, for more news. And if you are in the target groups for the first phase of COVID-19 vaccine, please go for a jab without fail. You could save your life and that of others. This is Sibongile Jambo. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.